Okay, so here we have Hyperion by Dan Simmons. Now, before I get into this review, I just have to say, listen, this is a brand new book, right? And I take care of my books, okay? But it has been 2 weeks, and this is what's beginning to happen here, right? You see this? The spine is already disintegrating, right? And listen, I have never come across any book, either brand new or worn, that just falls apart like this, like Bantan Books or whoever publishes this. I mean, are you making your books out of recycled toilet paper? You know? I mean, look at this. Has this happened to you? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I have never seen this happen to any other kind of book. Comic books, novels, anything. This is a brand new phenomenon to me. Look at this, brand new book, and the spine is falling apart here. But anyway, let's get to this review now. Listen, this book is special. Okay, it is a wonderful piece of fiction, and I don't read a lot of sci-fi, right? But I'm getting there, right? I'm getting there. Uh, but what I want to say is this is this is a this first book is legendary, but this is a prequel. Not a prequel. I'm sorry. This is a prologue, a preface for what's to come. Now listen, this is almost 500 pages, right? And for this to be a beginning chapter in a long story, I don't know. It's both. It is a good thing and a bad thing. And this is just an introduction to these characters, because we have a handful of characters here who are introduced, and you know, and I want to say I've already begun reading The Fall of Hyperion, which is the sequel, and I also have the other two. I heard great things about the first two, bad things about the other two, but anyway, so I've already started to read The Fall of Hyperion. I'm 100 pages in, and already I'm still like, okay, we're done with all of this world building. We're done with that. Okay, let's get to the core elements here, which is, of course, now this is just me. I am not interested all that much in the politics, in the other worlds, in the hegemony, in the all thing, the AI core, the ouster wars. Okay, I'm not interested in that. I don't care about forecasting to other worlds. Not that much. What I am interested in, what really hooked me about this book, it's this guy. Okay, I'm interested in the Shrike and in the planet Hyperion. These are the mysteries that hold me gripped. Okay, I am waiting in anticipation. Okay, and I hope the second one will deliver, because as I said, this one is just a prologue. The first chapter, not even the first chapter of something great, right? But anyway, we got a handful of characters, and we slowly find out their stories as they go about this pilgrimage on the planet Hyperion, which is a mystery. Nobody knows what really goes on here. Okay, Hyperion, the planet, is an anomaly. It is abnormal. It is a mystery. Nobody really knows. Not even the AI core. They don't really know what's going on with this planet. It is a something that cannot be predicted, right? And that fascinates me. That this planet has something that is just simply beyond logic, right? This is what's so fascinating about this about this book. It's this planet, okay? Um, some people might like, all of this technology, all of this world building, but I don't really care. Okay, not right now. Maybe the author will do something in the second and so on, but momentarily I'm just interested in what's going on this planet. And even in this first book, these characters, um, they're just telling their stories, how they got here, and we find out later that the AI core has selected them because uh, they prove to be a sort of they have an unpredictability factor, right? Uh, right, and of course, while they go on this pilgrimage to meet your boy the Shrike, so that they can get a wish, there's this looming threat of a war with the ousters, which will be catastrophic, and I mean universally catastrophic, right? But essentially, I don't really care about that. I really don't. All right, I'm fascinated with Hyperion. I care about the Shrike. The rest is just, I don't know. It's in the background for me. Not to say that this is a bad read. It's not a bad read. It keeps you reading, right? But I have to say, why would so they go on this pilgrimage? Why would the Shrike, um, grant a wish, right? That just seems odd to me, and I don't think, from what I remember, we don't have a solid explanation why the Shrike would grant you anything except for pain, because the Shrike is the Lord of Pain, right? But anyway, the Shrike has a church. Of course, there are many churches about a lot of things, and again, I'm not really interested in finding out the history of all of these components, right, of this story. And then you have your seven pilgrims that have to go to meet this Shrike, and you find out slowly who they are and what they want, right? And listen, it took me a while. I mean, it took me by the end of this book to actually kind of distinguish what character, who the character is, what they represent, because at the first at the beginning I'm like, who is the consul, who is the poet, who is the soldier, who is the private investigator? I'm just like, I can't even remember their names. Some of them are so bland, right? But we find out their stories. First, we have the priest Hoyt, and his story about the priest Dure. That was an interesting one with the cruciform, and they reach this sort of tribe that is immortal, that cannot die, that seem to worship the Shrike as well, and they have this cruciform, right? That first story was interesting. I liked it because it was focused mainly on things that happen on the planet Hyperion. Okay, I like that. The second one was, um, I think it was the soldier Kassad, right? And that, I think that is the weakest part of this book. The Kassad story was just a big meh to me. It was like, whatever, let's move on, right? And then we have, I think it was the poet Martin Silenus, and I like that. I like that character. It was a pretty decent story. Um, and then we have who else? Who else? Then we have the Templar, Matt Hastime, I think his name is, but he disappears, and he might be dead, so we don't get to hear his story. All right, and then we have Then we have the not the researcher, but the scholar Soul, whose story is interesting because it also mainly focuses on Hyperion, namely because his daughter, she goes to Hyperion to study the ruins, and she catches this disease that makes her age backwards. All right, so she goes back to being a baby. She ages in reverse, which is interesting. I like that. And then we have the console, right? The console that is that is the book begins with the console, right? In the prologue, and he's interesting too. He's a bit a bit of a what do you might call? He's a bit vague. His character is a bit vague, and you only find out what his deal is by the end of this book, which was I have to say it wasn't a shocker, but it was interesting. But the way it was presented, I had a bit of difficulty understanding who he really is and what he stands for. Right? It was a bit difficult for me to grasp what his deal is. But anyway, the book ends with our pilgrims going to the ruins of on Hyperion. We got the time tombs, we got the monolith, we got the Sphinx and other ruins, and they go on this path while singing, the Wizard of Oz on the yellow brick road, which was a peculiar taste, not taste, a peculiar choice for me to end this book with a song, like that when we're on the yellow brick road and we're going to the Shrike, and boy oh boy, it's not gonna be fun. But anyway, that's Hyperion in a nutshell. Now listen, there is a lot of what I like to call technological mumbo jumbo here. But it is kept at a minimum, which is preferable. You got your farcasters, you got different people on different planets, and they're affected differently by their environment, and you've got all of these ships, and you've got all of these pieces of technology, right? And I don't really care for that. There's nothing here that really sticks out to me, you know. And that's one reason why I don't really like sci-fi, because they focus so much on this techno babble. This look at me, I got this disky, and whatever. Maybe it's because we live in this day and age where everything is pretty much a commodity. We've all watched so many movies that have these crazy pieces of technology and these gadgets that we're unfazed by it, and I was unfazed by what is presented here. But anyway, if you can get past all of that, this is a pretty good read, I would say. What else could I say about this? um, Again, I don't really care about all of this political tomfoolery that's going on here. Not really. To me, the world hasn't been so developed that I care about the fate of all of these worlds, right? And the fate of the hegemony and their fight with the ousters. But then we have the AIs, with which also might be involved because they want to create the perfect being, which is God, and so on. And there's a fair amount of what you might call not religious but spiritual discussions here, which revolve around creators and their creations and so on, right? Which this part really stood out to me. I like that. And of course, you got a whole bunch of what you might call them, literary Easter eggs or references here, which are a delight. For some reason, I haven't really um, discovered why John Keats is such a prominent figure in this book. Right, I'm not familiar with his poetry, right, but still, he is very prominent here as a sort of ghost that's lingering in the background, right? Which is nice, you know. But you have a whole bunch of other literary references here that are nice if you're into that. That's a delight, right? But I want to end this review with a little bit of talk about the planet Hyperion and the Shrike, because of course this is what I'm here for, right? I'm invested in this story for Hyperion, the planet, and the Shrike, and the ruins that are here, right? I don't really care about everything else that's going on, right? So we have all of these ruins here on Hyperion that most people people in general don't know what's going on with these ruins. Who built them? Who they were? Where they came from? Why they came here? Why they built all of this? And of course, you got the time tombs, which has been revealed to be a sort of, I don't know what you might call it, a portal that has been sent from the future. If I got that right, if I understood that, and the Ousters want to conquer this planet because they believe that the Shrike has been sent from the future by their people to destroy the hegemony, right? Which might be false, which might be false. But if the time tombs open, then the Shrike is free to do and to go wherever it pleases, which is frightening to contemplate, right? But like I said, this planet fascinates me because it is a complete and total mystery that actually frightens people, right? Because from what I remember, Hyperion is a labyrinth planet, and there are only nine or seven labyrinth planets in the whole universe, right? And there are labyrinths underground, and from what I understand, specialists, experts say that these labyrinths have been built like maybe almost a billion years ago, by some crazy technology. It's fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me because all you have here are speculations and assumptions, and nobody really knows. Not even the godlike AI. They don't even know what's going on with this planet, but they know that something's fishy with this planet, with this technology that's in ruins here, right? And I can't wait to find out what's going on with this planet, right? I want to know, how does the cruciform fit in here? How does the Shrike fit in here? The labyrinths, all of the ruins. What's going on here? What's the purpose? Because obviously there has to be a bigger picture here that we're not missing, right? And it's great. It's great. I can't wait to read more. Um, and of course, we got the Shrike here, who is, of course, in the background mostly. He is in the background. We don't really get to fully explore his character because he is just this almost ghostly killing machine. He is a god of pain and death, right? Some refer to him as the Lord of Pain, right? And we barely get to see him here and there, right? Because he is a mystery. Some people believe that he is just a myth. Others, believe he is a hoax, and so on. But anyway, we are left with What will happen to our pilgrims when they encounter the Shrike? And like I said, I've already begun reading The Fall of Hyperion. I'm 100 pages in, and I don't know. I'm I'm not disappointed, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I get it. The war with the ousters and blah blah blah, and you have to introduce all of these other characters that were barely mentioned here. But listen, you gotta focus on the task at hand. What's going on with this planet? What's going on with all of these ruins, with the Shrike? And I don't know. I'm waiting. I'm I have expectations, right? And they might be completely wrong, but I can't wait, and I'll do another review when I finish that book. But you should read this because it is the way that it is, the style in which it is written. It is not too much. It is not too overbearing with techno nonsense. All of these technology. They all have all of this technology and all of these ships and all of these portals and all of these political machinations, and they got cybrids and they got all sorts of things that I don't really care for, right? I mean, it's interesting if you're into that. Maybe that will spice things up for you, but personally, I don't really care about that. All I care about is your boy the Shrike and the planet Hyperion. I don't necessarily even care about our main characters, our main cast of characters, the Pilgrims, right? Not really, not yet. Like I said, it took me the whole book to sort of distinguish who is who, right? And especially the soldier and the private investigator Braun. Those people, they don't really interest me. You know, but I'll see with what happens in the second book, right? And I just want to mention, there are some crazy, crazy nice descriptions here. The Dan Simmons descriptions in this book, they're obviously superb. Sometimes, rarely, they get a bit too much emphasis, too much screen time, if you would, right? There are too many descriptions about whatever, the sky and the fauna and the blah blah blah, you know. But they're nicely written. But the problem is that I want the descriptions on this planet should have been, anomalous. Everything that is described on this planet should have been unnatural, should have been um, haunting, should have been, um, I don't know, even malevolent, if you would, right? But he does a splendid job in carrying you to a different world where this is the future. People have moved on from Earth because Earth was destroyed because of pollution and blah blah blah. And there's way more in this book that I have mentioned here, right? But this is the core, right? And if you're into the sci-fi, techno, the gizmos, then this is the book for you. But personally, this is it for me. This is it for me. All of that is that is in the background for me, and I still can't wait to see what happens with this boy. This boy right here. Okay, this boy right here. He interests me. Okay, this is a unique character, and the setting is unique as well. And it's a great book. I have to say, it's a great book. Um, Hopefully, it will get a lot better, because as of right now, I personally am not invested in the fate of all the people, of the worlds, of the political structures, of the hegemony, of the AI core of and so on. I don't really care about the ousters, because the ousters are also people, human beings that have gone their own way, and they have evolved differently from our token human beings in this book. Because there are no aliens in this book, only people, which is interesting. Because the hegemony has like almost 200 worlds, right? And there are no aliens, which is interesting. But that's about it. Like I said, the second book has to focus on the main event. The main event is the Shrike, the Pilgrims, the planet Hyperion. Okay, all of that war with the ousters. I don't really care about that right now. The war has allegedly already started in the second book. I'm 100 pages in. The war is waging just above the planet Hyperion, right? And I'm still not invested. It's like, whatever. Get me to the Time Tombs. Let's see what happens here, because apparently these seven pilgrims and what they do here with the Shrike and the ruins, that's gonna decide the fate of the universe. All right, and I want to see how the author pulls that off. Okay, I want to see how these seven people can influence the destiny of everything, right? Because the seven pilgrims, they don't strike me as phenomenal. They're all right, but they're average in many ways. And you know I have a lot of expectations. But yet again, you should read this book, Hyperion. It's great, but it could have been even better. Okay, and that's about it.